CTV News at 5 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It's been confirmed today that the federal government has chosen a German company to build Canada's new submarine fleet. Prime Minister Mark Carney has just confirmed in a press conference that Germany's TKMS will be awarded the lucrative contract for 12 new submarines. The German company was competing with South Korea's Hanwha over the contract that has an estimated value of more than $100 billion over its lifespan. Now, the news of Canada choosing the German shipbuilder for the multi-million-dollar fleet of submarines is disappointing news for Sault Ste. Marie. Had the government chosen Hanwha Ocean for the contract, it would have meant millions for Algoma Steel and the Sault area. In January, the steelmaker signed a $345 million deal with the South Korean shipbuilder, dependent on Hanwha being chosen for the submarine contract. Part of that deal included Algoma Steel receiving $275 million to develop a structural beam mill in the Sault.
The investment into the beam mill seemed to be a big, advantage for Sault Ste. Marie in the process, and one that we were hoping we would see through. But without it, we are going to keep pushing for economic diversification locally with the port, and Algoma is, of course, with our support, going to be pushing for the beam mill to be developed with federal government help.
Both United Steelworkers Union presidents declined to comment. We'll have more on this story, including highlights from the Prime Minister's press conference, coming up at 6. Time now for our first check on weather, and it's been another scorcher out there today, but how much longer will this hot spell last? For the details, we go to CTV's Tony Rima.
Thanks for that, Marina, and good evening, everyone. The heat wave is going to last a little while longer. No heat warnings in place except for the far north. I can barely touch that. Moosonee, 29 degrees, 30 with the humidex, feeling more like 35, 36 degrees Celsius, and there's an air quality. Bad air in through Rouyn-Noranda and could hit Larder Lake, Virginia Town along Route 66. And as we take a look now at our forecast radar, first weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership by going to getcaa.ca. Clear skies over the next few days, but unsettled conditions are on the way. More weather details later in our show. Marina.
Thanks for that, Tony. Police and the coroner are looking into a sudden death in North Bay over the weekend. North Bay police say they were called to the 1800 block of Algonquin Avenue around 4:30 Sunday afternoon. The office of the chief coroner will determine the cause of death, but the deceased has been identified. Their identity, though, will not be released. Police say there's no evidence to suggest any risk to the public. The provincial government has provided additional top-up funding for the Mattawa Hospital and North Bay Regional Health Centre, most of it going to operations. We get more on that from CTV's Eric Tashner.
We've increased that kind of funding.
Recognizing the tremendous strain on hospitals.
They're doing such a phenomenal job here at the North Bay Regional Health Centre.
The province is chipping in $4.7 million to support improved operations at the hospitals in North Bay and Mattawa.
Each hospital runs their own administration and their own budgets. They apply for the funding that they need, and we're there to supply that.
Most of this new money, $3.7 million to be exact, will go towards operations at the North Bay Regional Health Centre.
Hospital cuts must go!
Last month, at a rally outside of Fideli's office, CUPE, the union representing 1,000 hospital workers, told local media the budget deficit for 2026-2027 is currently between $7.5 and $8.2 million.
So that's going to be a problem because the members here in North Bay, the public are going to see those cuts. They're going to be waiting longer in the ER.
This will, in fact, not make it any worse. We have a lot more year to go before we'll know what our final outcome is financially, so I don't want to speculate on how we're going to land.
The hospital says it was able to whittle down its 2025-2026 budget to what it calls a very small deficit. One of the challenges, Heinrich notes, is that over the last 3 years, patient illness has gone up by 10%.
I strongly believe there's a correlation between the increase in sickness of our patients. If they don't have attachment to a primary care provider, then they're less likely to be tested, screened, and cared for.
Fideli says healthcare spending in Ontario has increased from $60 billion in 2018 to $101 billion this year. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
The city of Greater Sudbury plans on spending more than $73 million on road rehabilitation and construction this season. CTV's Alana Everson has the details.
Asphalt grinding along Paris Street over the Bridge of Nations causes traffic slowdowns on Monday. The city says the work is part of its large patch asphalt projects this year.
This year we added $10 million capital investment on large patch asphalt. Those are really spread around the city. You're going to see some work on major arteries such as Paris and Notre Dame in Sudbury.
The largest linear project this season is in Lively, where the city plans on spending $23.5 million for roads and other infrastructure.
That includes road rehab, road reconstruction, sidewalks, water mains, sewer. That's really to free up development in Lively and Walden. But while we're doing that, we also rehabbing and reconstructing the road.
Project that's well overdue. We've been kind of locked in our development here because of water and sewer capacity issues, and a lot of these this infrastructure goes along roadways that we're in desperate need of repair as well. So we're getting two birds with one stone by upgrading the water and sewer to be able to unlock the development and also repairing these roads.
Completion of the Lively project is slated for next year. The second largest project this year is Municipal Road 35 from the Big Nickel Road to Isilda, a 9-kilometer road rehabilitation. While the third largest is road rehab on Long Lake Road, with both projects expected to be finished this year. This year, the city will spend $73 million on linear infrastructure projects, up from $69 million last year. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Time now for a quick break. Coming up, though, on CTV News at 5, Tony has your full weather forecast. For now, let's take a live look at conditions in Sault Ste. Marie, where you can see it's a lovely evening at the waterfront. Blue skies, plenty of action on the water. We'll be right back.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Folks, now your main weather and the intense heat we've been experiencing going to diminish somewhat depending upon where you live over the next few days. However, there's an air quality warning in place for Rouyn-Noranda in Quebec, and it could spill over into Larder Lake and other areas in our broadcast region. Wildfires in that area. Heat warning for the far north, but we're going to take a look now at our temperatures, and it's still hot out there. Add the humidity and it feels like mid-30s depending upon where you are. So if you're doing anything outside, don't forget to drink lots of water. 30 degrees in through Sudbury tomorrow in the evening hours. 31 for Sault Ste. Marie. That's without the humidex, of course. Add on a few more degrees on top of that. Let's take a look at your 5-day weather forecast, starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt tomorrow. Beautiful sunshine, still on the warm side. Should be about 25 degrees as the daytime high, 29. Then it becomes a little bit more unsettled. Rain on the way midweek. Friday, 26, and even warmer on Saturday. Beautiful sunshine, 29. For Sault Ste. Marie, mostly sunny tomorrow. Above seasonal, should be about 24 for the Soo this time of year. Wednesday, 60% chance of rain. Temperature starts to drop. Then we start to get clearing. Temperatures going up Saturday, 28. Looks pretty nice at this point. For Timmins, Cochrane, and Kapuskasing, sun cloud and a 60% chance of rain. 30 degrees. It's going to be even warmer with the humidity factored into that. And on Friday, 26, Saturday, even warmer. A few more clouds, though. For Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, beautiful day tomorrow, 29. Summer is certainly here. We're feeling that heat. On Wednesday, clouds roll in, a chance of rain continuing into Friday. Then we start to get some clearing. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud coming in at 30 degrees Celsius. And finally, folks, your 5-day weather forecast for North Bay, West Nipissing. 29 degrees, beautiful sunshine tomorrow. Should be about 25 this time of year. On Wednesday, still nice. Thursday, then we start to see a system roll in. Unsettled conditions, 22, slightly below seasonal. Friday and Saturday at this point, beautiful temperatures, 27, 28 degrees. Marina, one more day of the heat. Temperatures come down, but there's a chance of rain. It's back over to you.
All right, we'll certainly be needing the rain by then. Thank you, Tony. The Anishinaabe Police Service is stepping up to support the next generation of Indigenous leaders. The police service recently launched a new bursary program aimed at helping post-secondary students reach their academic goals. The initiative will award 3 annual bursaries of $1,000 each. The funding is open to eligible members of the 16 First Nation policed by APS officials. And they say the goal is to help students headed to university, skilled trades, apprenticeships, and Indigenous knowledge programs.
I think if we can create more education and awareness, about some of the tragic events that happen in our communities, it'll, give our young people a clear path of leading that good life. So one of our philosophies here at the Anishinaabe Police Services is Minol Bamatswin, and that's that good road, right? So that's where we want to lead our young children so that they will be equipped to move us into the future.
And the deadline for applications is August 1st. Police services across the country are struggling to recruit new officers. Northern College in Timmins is hoping its first ever summer police academy will help inspire the next generation to consider a law enforcement career. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
These junior officers are fully engaged at Northern College's inaugural Summer Police Academy.
I was trying to think, what can we do, for future police officers? There's, in policing right now across the country, there's a lot of people that are not applying. There's no interest in it.
Whether it's sounding off alarms, trying on Kevlar, or learning about traffic enforcement, more than 20 youth are getting a first-hand look at policing in action.
I've been wanting to be a police officer for a lot of years now, since I was little, and it's been my passion. So I thought when my mom said, hey, there's this police camp going on, do you want to go? I was like, oh my God, yeah, I was really excited.
Throughout the week, the junior officers will also learn about drones, forensic science, and conduct their own investigations while working alongside officers from Timmins Police, OPP, and Anishinaabe ASCII Police Service. The camp also gives students a chance to connect with police officers in a positive environment.
Well, really, I'm not sure why the interest in policing has kind of gone, downhill since I was a kid, because things like this, having an opportunity to speak to a police officer, maybe because I wanted to be a police officer ever since I was a kid, but having the opportunity, it just doesn't come by very often.
The Summer Police Academy continues through Friday at the Timmins campus. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, South Porcupine.
And coming up on CTV News at 5, a call for donors from Canadian Blood Services. Plus, Shigwinda First Nation dedicates a monument to honor those who attended residential schools. Members of Shigwinda First Nation and surrounding communities gathered recently to honor the known children who attended residential schools between 1830 and 1996. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
More than 70 names were read aloud from the plaques engravings, but many at Friday's event feel there are still more who are unknown.
It's really about honoring the community as a whole and, recognizing those who went to residential school from this community, and to never forget them, to never forget what they had to go through, to be removed from their families, their loved ones, their moms and dads and grandparents.
We figured it was, at the time is right to honor these names, and give them the respect that they deserve.
The list of names came from preliminary archival research of children who attended schools in Shingwack, Spanish, and the Jesuit-run school at Wickwemikong. But some of the names have changed over the years, and there are plans to add more once they're known.
You know, they took everything from us, our language especially, you know, and when you don't have your language, you don't, you know, you've lost the biggest gift.
It's just only one of our monuments that we're going to have. We're going to do a couple more yet. We're just starting.
Wandaban says the next plaques will highlight the names of missing and murdered Indigenous women and Indigenous veterans.
Recognize that part of healing is recognizing what's happened in the past and to help us move forward, but to never forget what they've done for us.
Family members were impacted by all this, and you can see it now, like I said, you can see it in the drugs, the alcohol, all this other stuff that goes on, which I attribute to being in residential school, maybe their parents, their grandparents, or somebody in their family.
Organizers say the monument shows deep Anishinaabe history that has caused generations of pain that are still felt today. Madison Marier, CTV News, Shigwenda First Nation.
Well, summer is finally here, but as Northerners hit the beach, Canadian Blood Services is facing a major shortage. The organization says donations dramatically drop during the warmer months as people head out on vacation. Officials say the demand for plasma is expected to jump by 50% over the next 5 years, driven by an aging population. Right now, only about 400,000 Canadians regularly donate. The agency says it's aiming to reach 1 million donors by 2030.
We are hearing from donors that they truly feel that this is a patriotic way to help Canadians. So donations made to Canadian Blood Services are all used for Canadian patients. So it's just a way to stay connected and to really do, to take care of other Canadians.
And if you do have time to give, officials say clinics will be open throughout the season. Canada's men's national soccer team returned home last night following their historic World Cup run. Players and staff spoke following their arrival at Pearson Airport. The team lost 3-0 to Morocco in the round of 16 and became the first host nation eliminated from the tournament. However, that represents Canada's best ever finish at the World Cup, as the country had previously never made it out of the group stage. And kickoff for Switzerland versus Colombia is 4 p.m. tomorrow with live coverage right here on CTV. That means our newscast tomorrow at 5 p.m. will be preempted, but you can still tune in after the game on CTV News at 6 for all of your local news. When we return, today's Pure Country Catch-Up. You're watching First at 5.
Hey, it's Josh and Coop from Pure Country Mornings in Sudbury. Before we get to a massive wedding, hey, a country show in Sudbury under the stars. It's set to go next Thursday at the Grace Harmon Amphitheater here in Sudbury at Bell Park. It's going to be fantastic. Dallas Smith making his return to the Nickel City with Haley Benedict, Rob Fitzgerald. Tickets are still available for the show. You can go to greatersudbury.ca/tickets or head to our website for those details. Pure Country will be on site for that one. You've got to be there.
And yes, from country music concerts to country music weddings, it's the one that everyone has been talking about online. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they got married on Friday night in New York City at Madison Square Garden in front of about 1,000 guests. And Coop, it sounds like it was quite the party.
First of all, why weren't we invited?
We were. Not.
Well, apparently Adam Sandler, he officiated the ceremony and performed an original song for the couple. A source called it, and I quote, humorous yet touching, as if Adam Sandler officiated the wedding.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, outside of that, we don't actually have many details because it was a very private event where there was a no cell phone policy, no pictures, no videos, nothing like that. Guests were actually greeted to a sign on the door as they entered the venue that said there was a agreement of confidentiality. So there were professionals on site to do photography and videography. Some fans think there might be a documentary or a special and as a result of this wedding, but there are actually very few details.
I will say one witness said the decor was kind of like Alice in Wonderland meets the Wizard of Oz. So it kind of gives you a bit of a glimpse into maybe what it looked like.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what comes out of the wedding if the official photos are released. I'm sure the internet is going to explode if they are. But you can catch all those details and more by listening to Pure Country 91.7 on the dial or completely free on the iHeartRadio app.
Our first community close-up comes to us from the greater Sudbury community of Lively, where preparations are well underway for the 75th anniversary celebration later this week from the 10th until the 12th. Organizers say people are welcome for a weekend of live music, local heritage, and a whole town of celebration, including a parade and a classic car show. Visit lively75th.ca for more information. Also in Sudbury, the St. Charles College Percussion Ensemble recently took home first place at the Ontario Music Festivals Association provincial competition. Competing against some of Ontario's finest young musicians, the school says it's an achievement that reflects countless hours of rehearsal, perseverance, and teamwork. Well done. And check out this catch, proudly held by my little guy Mika while we were in Elliott Lake last week. Summer vacation is now well underway for students, and there's nothing better than getting out for a day in the sun by the lake, enjoying all the fun and nature that Northern Ontario has to offer. Look at that smile. So what have you been up to so far this summer? If you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. Don't forget to include your name, location, and a short description. Well, finally for us, as briefly mentioned, Taylor Swift fans still basking in the afterglow of Friday's big wedding. The pop star married football player Travis Kelce in a star-studded ceremony in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I wish them a lifetime of happiness. I can't wait till they have kids. I can't wait to see the wedding photos and everyone who's in here today, this evening. I know it's exciting.
Yes, fans gathered in the heat outside the venue, sending their well wishes to the couple while they and their 1,000+ guests celebrated inside. Comedian Adam Sandler, a friend of the newlyweds, officiated the ceremony, and Swift's brother, Austin Swift, served as man of honor, and Kelce's brother, retired football player Jason Kelce, acted as best man. So we are getting a few details, but of course most of it pretty tight-lipped, but still plenty of hype surrounding that event there. So there is more news for the North, though, coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.